My mother comes home in a wheelchair. Neither she nor Daddy explains why. After my mom's fall in their bedroom, I end up performing Edelweiss in the big auditorium without her. She doesn't have the strength to accompany me. When we get home after the concert, her piano stands silent, untouched. Up until now, the big black grand piano had been her greatest happiness, the place where Stephanie and I would find her if we were looking for an afternoon snack or a kiss for a skinned knee. The house was always filled with the strains of her practicing Beethoven and Chopin, or accompanying Daddy's most advanced violin students on Mozart or Bach. Now, Daddy pushes her in the wheelchair to their bedroom, doing his best not to bump into the hallway walls along the way. She eats dinner there on a tray. "Mommy is tired," our father says, shooing us out of the way and closing the door behind him. He doesn't mention the wheelchair then, or the next day, or the day after that. But that night, Daddy gives us our baths and tucks us into bed, and over the next few nights, he starts taking over Mommy's other duties as well. Before long, we settle into a new routine. At bath time, Daddy teaches us the names of our body parts in sing-song Ukrainian. "Dai ruku, dai nohu," he says, and we lift our hands and feet to be washed. At bedtime, he reads us Medovy Talasik, a Ukrainian version of the Gingerbread Man, and sings us Ukrainian folk songs. For breakfast, he makes us scrambled eggs and toast, one of his specialties, another being Black Russians, a drink that is most certainly not for little children. When our hair needs cutting, he does it himself, chopping our bangs clear up to our hairlines in a hopeless attempt to make them straight. At dinner, after Steph and I carry our plates to the sink, he dashes around the kitchen, cleaning up in a frenzy so he can be ready for the private students who begin letting themselves in through the unlocked front door early every evening. A few days after the wheelchair makes its first appearance, my mom maneuvers herself onto the piano bench. But when she starts to play, she stumbles over the keys, and I hear her cry out. Soon she is hardly touching the instrument at all. My parents used to talk about how my mother was going to teach Steph piano one day, how they were just waiting until her tiny hands got a bit bigger. They looked forward to the day Steph and I would perform together, she accompanying me on the piano. But when Steph turns 3 years old, the age she is supposed to start lessons, nobody says a word. Not long afterward, I wake up screaming, torn from sleep by a nightmare. The communists have come for Daddy. In my dream, soldiers in red uniforms invade our house. They storm up the front staircase, rush past the kitchen, muscle through the bedroom hallway with its Pepto-Bismol pink and blue bathroom, and grab my Daddy. They pull him away from me as he struggles mightily to break free. I reach out for him, straining to grab him, but the soldiers are too strong. I call out to him, "Daddy! Daddy!" and realize I am still shouting for him as I wake up. I hear his feet hit the floor with a thump as he comes running into my room. "Shh, Lostchiko, I'm here." My father is at my bedside, whispering in my ear. Lostchiko is Ukrainian for little bird, the first word of my favorite lullaby. When I was a toddler, the tune was so effective that I would protest, "No Lostchiko, Daddy, please, no Lostchiko," because I knew I could never keep my eyes open once he started singing that soothing song. I'm not actually sure who or what communists are. All I know is that they're evil and that Daddy escaped from them when he was a boy back in Ukraine. I once heard him tell my mother, over one of his end-of-the-day Black Russians, that they murdered his father and want him dead too. What upsets me most is how scared my fearless father seems when he mentions them. "Always tell the truth," he lectures Stephanie and